Thank you, guys. I just wanted to introduce myself, Patrick Nelligan, ReNew Solar Solutions. I'm our VP of Commercial Sales. I'm a licensed general contractor, hold my licensure in 3 or 4 states. We work all the way from the Gulf, the Great Lakes, Mississippi to the East Coast. We expand kind of all over the place. Our main office is here in Nashville. I'll say here in Nashville. I'm not in Nashville today. Is in Nashville. I live out of Chattanooga, work remotely. Been in solar for like 6 years. Got in contact with Duralast about a year or 2 ago. And I've really been kind of sold on the system. I mean, I assume that's why a lot of you guys are here. It's probably one of the best roofing systems I've seen. I push it a lot of our commercial jobs. So anywhere where we're at, if there's a combination where we can get solar and roofing together, we always push for that. The tax credits are one of the biggest things. Solar comes with a 26% federal tax credit. So any money you put into the system, 26% of that can be applied against your federal taxes. If you do roofing at the same time, 26% of the cost of that roof also applies for that tax credit. I'm not I can't give fiduciary advice, but that is how we've had other people, and we've had some CPAs that we've done their businesses and houses, and they've fully opened their books and shown us that is how they fully applied for it. My solar at my house, I fully applied for it. I built an entire deck structure. I got 26% tax credit on all of the materials down to the machine I rented to dig the footers. So anything you use for it, and roofing, it's just kind of a perfect combination with commercial roofing with it. The technology, the tax incentives, they've got bonus depreciation. With all of you guys being in Kentucky, Tennessee, a lot of the areas are REAP eligible, a USDA program. Through that, they can get another 25% of the system back as a grant. Kentucky and Tennessee are very low competitive states, so if you've got a good project that qualifies, you're looking at upwards of 70% if you can get the tax credits, the depreciation, and the REAP. You spend $400,000, you're looking at only paying about $100,000 for that solar array. The power production on that generation normally makes projects pencil in at just a few years. So that combined with a roof, a lot of times it's a pretty winning ticket for a lot of people. Doesn't work for every application. Obviously with roofing, anytime we get involved with a new roof and solar, I get in touch with Scott. We look at the assemblies, make sure that everything's gonna work out, that we've got the right assembly of the Duralast product going down, but definitely, a good combination to go through. If you guys have any other questions, I didn't want to take up too much time today, but I've got cards and handouts, and then my cell phone number's on it. So anybody's got a question or anything, or if you run into a customer and want to introduce us, referrals. If you have a business or a customer that's interested in solar, commercial referrals start at $2,500. If it goes up from there, we're looking at a deal right now where it's $5.5 million. You introduce us to that kind of customer, we're talking about a much bigger referral. So, you don't have to know how to sell it. If you've got questions and you want to talk about it a little more to the customer, you can. That's where I come in, or one of our sales guys, that you just kind of open the door, we come in, coordinate with you directly, make sure it all works together. And then at that point, we ink a deal, we write a check, everybody's happy. Anybody have any questions?
You mentioned a $400,000 job costing $100. How do you arrive at exactly that, like 75% off, basically?
If you're with the REAP, so the Rural Energy for America program is a USDA program you'd have to qualify for.
Okay.
That can be, the cap of that is $500,000, but then you're normally looking at about 25 to 30%. Then you've got a 26% federal tax credit, and then depending on how you depreciate the system, either through makers, straight line, or there's bonus depreciation, which is just a different method of doing that. You're broaching up to about that much right there.
So what type of projects are best suited and eligible for the REAP program?
REAP, I can send out some information on that. It's the Rural Energy for America program. So you have to be geographically eligible. Anytime I look at a project, there's a pretty quick calculator they've got on the REAP site. You look at a map, you type in the location. If it's in a city center like Nashville doesn't qualify, big cities don't qualify. Just outside of that county, if their population is less, they qualify. And then beyond that qualification, There's a list of their NAICS number or NAICS number, how their federal taxes are calculated. We're looking at one right now that's a boat builder. So they are in a REAP geographic area. Their NAICS number says that they're allowed to have up to 1,000 employees before they're not eligible for REAP. So small business, they've got 700 employees and they're a small business under this program and they can apply for this. So depending on the exact business type, there are so many different little ins and outs, but a lot of businesses can apply for it. But yeah, through those programs. Okay.
You just sell them, or you produce, you manufacture them as well, the panels?
No, we don't manufacture. No, if I manufacture panels, no, I do not manufacture panels. We buy panels from suppliers all over, all over the world, really. I mean, there are some panels that are domestically made, but you pay such a premium for them. You're talking to a business owner. Once you get to brass tacks, nobody really cares where they're made.
Right.
I mean, most of them are Asia. The best panels are made in Asia. I mean, you've got some Canadian solar, which are really good. You've got some plant manufacturers. Now there's a Q-Cell factory. It's a Korean company, but they're a Q-Cell factory in Dalton, Georgia that we do purchase from. No, we do not manufacture anything. We just only install, operate, service, solar energy, battery systems, any of all type. Residential as well, we don't do. I mean, we're not going to travel really far like Tennessee and Kentucky. If anybody has a residential lead, we'll still service that, but commercial is kind of best opportunity.
I thought I heard you mention maybe like some depreciation on those as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the previous administration with the tax code, there were some changes made where basically a building owner could write off 100% of the depreciation of the building, the roof cost within the first year up to, I think, $1 million, is that correct? Okay. And I know roofing specifically was called out of that, so was HVAC.
Yep.
With that depreciation schedule, with solar panels,
Yep.
in that as well, they are?
Yep, solar fits into that 100% depreciation model.
They can write off 100% depreciation.
Yep.
Okay.
And then with spray coatings, I mean, physically today we've got a project with spray coatings. I would assume spray coatings are the same. I've not fully gone into the write-off on the spray coatings of if it's allowed to be. I mean, with the renewable tax credit, if you're putting it down with the solar, I think there might be a 26% to be ascertained. I mean, I'm not a CPA, we'd have to consult somebody, but we've got multiple projects where if we're putting a solar array down on a metal roof, like a trapezoidal metal panel, commercial panel, they'll do a spray coating first, then we'll put down a panel that reflects both on the front and back, harnesses energy, a bifacial panel. So they'll increase 20% production on the panel, the output from it, with the spray coating on the roof. So a lot of times that pencils out to make sense to do the spray coating and then do solar on top of it.
If you're not familiar with that tax material, reach out to Scott and myself. We can get you some information on that. Make sure you're talking to your building owner, they reach out to their accounting. But as of right now, the new administration has not changed that, so that's probably going to be in play at least till the end of the year. That's a huge benefit for you guys. So if you want a little more information on that, let us know. We'll get it to you.
Yep. And I mean, with obviously the change in administration, for better or worse, everybody's got an opinion on it. The tax credit for solar is probably going to go up. That's coupled with roofing. That tax credit goes along with that. So if it jumps back up to 30%, a lot of these projects pencil out a lot easier. So if that's the case, there could be a lot of opportunities everywhere to combine solar and roofing together. And if anybody's got any questions, feel free to reach out.
I think I might be able to clarify what that question was. I think when you look at depreciation of roof coatings, it's an operational expense, so it was never considered a capital expenditure that you would depreciate. It was an operational expense, okay? When you talk about, what the gentleman's talking about with the tax credit, it's the expenditure to put the solar on, which includes the coating.
Correct.
Getting a tax credit, and then you would write it off as an operational expense or using the accelerated depreciation schedules that they talked about.
Much better explanation than I could give. Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
It's one, but it's a big one, right?
Well, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Let me speak. Thank you to Duralast. Greatly appreciate it. And I'll hand out a bunch of cards, and I've got some flyers. If anybody has a question, there's no bad question. big or small, feel free to reach out. I've got my cell phone on me all the time, so if you run into a client late in the day, you got somebody interested in solar, don't hesitate to give me a call. My email's on there as well, and look forward to talking to some of you guys and doing some solar projects.